I know now that my wife has become host to a Kandarian demon. I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
It's truly frightening.
This isn't a
It's your home.
Oh man, I got this. Big one for me too, man. Yeah.
Greetings and salutations. It's Thursday night. That means 3 Corners of Horror live here on Horror Fiend TV. And this is going to be a fun one. It's a Philippou Twins Double Feature here. And we got a full house for this one. So let me introduce who we got on our show. Mark, welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
You ready to talk about these movies?
I'm very excited. I love both of these films, so I'm ready to spread my love all about them. And the Philippou Twins are my fave, so I'm ready.
All right, Miss Lexi.
I'm definitely ready to talk about these two. They definitely are my forte, so I'm excited about this one.
That is very true. And of course, you know, the king of slow burns, and these are, you know, they're a bit of a slow burn, but actually a fast pace for a slow burn. But JR, are you ready for this?
I don't know. After this, do you guys want to bring me back?
Uh-oh.
Good one.
Hey, there's a reason he's called the villain.
I think I don't know. JR and I might be on the same wavelength. I feel his energy.
Uh-oh. Ricky, what about you?
My energy is good because we all cheer for big cups of beer. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Let's have a good show.
Big bottles of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
I should have had the coffee.
We can't leave out our coffee drinkers. I love coffee. In the morning, though, not at night. But...
All right, well, before we get into the movies, let's say a quick hello.
And Joe said, I'm here. Carvey. Who's Carvey?
That's my daughter.
Carvey? Oh,
Hey!
I like that,
All right,
avatar.
Oh,
Did she draw that herself?
She watched both films, so.
It's Mama Rose. Hello, Mama Rose. Well, hello,
Hi,
hello.
Mom.
Hello, all. And of course, it
La
can be
familia,
a
all
live
up
stream
in here.
without Adam, my boy Adam. hey. I really liked these movies. All right, so we know he's at that side of the corner. So let's go.
No, he's not. And it's funny because I have a funny feeling I'm going to be like the one in the middle that will probably be the tiebreaker depending on which the movie is.
That's interesting.
All right, so tonight, as I said, we're going to be doing both of the Philippou Twins movies, and we are going to start with how far would you go if you lost someone to bring her back? And it is written by both Danny and Michael. I've already said the names more than once, so I'm not going to keep repeating their names. Also written by Danny and Bill Heinzman. And it stars Billy Barrett as Andy, Sally Hawkins as Laura, and Sarah Wong as Piper. And, well, I guess I'm going to go first because I guess I was kind of told and everybody brought up a point. Every time I go to the end, I'm like, yeah, no, everybody said it, but we're good. But, all right, so this is the follow-up to Talk to Me. And I will say that the one thing I did get to really enjoy, we normally go to a matinee, and we went on a Saturday night. And the theater was completely packed. And it felt good to see a horror movie because normally when we go, Lexi posted something when she went to see the movie, it was just her and her daughter.
We were the only ones.
And that's generally how it is when we go for the matinee. But this was, and it was an excitement in it. And the best part was, you know, the crowd actually just stayed quiet. There was no talkers, you know, so you can, like, when you sit at home and you're intense and you don't have some person babbling away, you got that good feeling. And I'll say this on this one, because I found this sort of almost off the bat say predictable. It was kind of like, it wasn't hard to figure out exactly what Laura was going to be up to. But performance-wise, I actually love Sally Hawkins. She did a great job. You know, once I go for my master's, I'll, you know, be doing social work. So social work people are kind of quirky people, you know, because they have to be ready to deal with everyone, but they can sometimes be a little crazy themselves. Not that I'm saying I'm a little crazy. I'm more like a lot, but yeah, a lot more. But yeah. So again, the movie, obviously, once the kids lose, and I'll let some of you guys talk about some of the other scenes. That way, I don't hog it all up. Obviously, when the kids lose the parents, they're sent to this house. And Laura, who was a social worker, with kids, is now doing foster work. And she had a weird attachment off the bat. And then when, you're sitting there and you're going, the movies bring her back. And she's talking about her daughter is dead. All right. So there's got to be something involving that Piper is going to be some sort of vessel for her daughter. And does anybody remember what the daughter's name was? Because I didn't write it down.
No. Oh, wait, the dead daughter?
Uh-huh.
Kathy.
Kathy?
Sorry, I was muted.
Kathy.
Kathy.
Oh, all right.
I was
Kathy.
like, yeah, but where's the mute button?
But yeah, so you knew what was going on. Obviously, if anyone knows me, I will just say briefly on one scene, unless somebody else more go into detail. Y'all know I hate shit with teeth in a horror movie. I literally sat there and just covered my face. There was, when we got the seats, there was somebody sat next to Adam, but these were empty, so he moved. So me and this girl were kind of, as we're watching the movie, reacting. And when he put the knife in his mouth, it's just like, it's all biting down. I'm like, your legs are going like this. And me and the girl were both like in our seat. And I'm like, why do they keep doing this? Like, what is this obsession with mutilation of the mouth and like fucking up your teeth like this? Great scene. So yeah. I'm not hating on the scene,
Absolutely.
More gorier ones in here. But again, for me, I hated that Andy died. And unfortunately, the death reminded me of from Glass when oh my god, from what's his name?
Come on, Gia, you know this
one.
Bruce Willis's character?
Yeah, Bruce Willis's character. Yeah. So he gets drowned in a puddle, and then I'm seeing it, and I'm like, we're doing a drowning in a puddle?
No, that's just much more realistic.
Well, no, but I mean, the thing is, when the fucking car came in, I'll leave somebody else to go into detail on that.
I think he was dead anyway.
Well, he was pretty fucking banged up.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that it for me is where the movie turned a little more interesting, because now you really see like what the extent that Laura will go. And then you're like, well, damn, this is really fucked up. Like, she fucking kidnapped this kid over here. She just finished drowning the brother. Now she's, it's like she went completely bonkers. I thought her performance was good. Again, though, as far as storyline, did just find it a little predictable. Like, for me, I off the bat knew that the reason she took the kids in is because she just wanted Piper for what she's going to do. And I'll leave other people to talk about that. Like I said, I just wanted to get my initial thoughts out there. So with that, Mark, I will tell you this. You've been on here, this is like your fourth time, right?
I think third or fourth, yeah.
All right. So at this point, now I do roulette. So you'll never know if you're going to go next. That's why in case you were going to... But, let's see. Actually, you know what? Because I got to now see what the battle are going to be. I am going to go to Mark, actually. Mark, go ahead. Okay. It's only because we got the 2 points. Everybody's in
the correct order.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. I just realized it's all played out for me here.
Yeah, I kind of love that. Similar to you, I saw it in a packed theater. Unfortunately, I go either on Thursdays or Fridays, so it's always packed. But I love seeing horror movies in a packed theater because it sets the tone. And I'm the type of person that I talk to the screen. I know it's horrible, so it's giving like Brenda in Scary Movie. I'm like literally like, oh my god, like I'm just like freaking out.
Me too.
I know it's the worst, and it's crazy too because I'm completely sober. I'm not even drinking, which is weird. But so I absolutely enjoyed it. Like you, it was very predictable. As soon as they mentioned that Sally Hawkins' deceased daughter, Laura, that her daughter was also blind. As soon as she walked in and like that whole bit was like revealed, I was like, okay, I know exactly where this is going. Like, she's gonna use her as like a vessel to bring her back. So unfortunately, that was kind of like, dang, like they already gave it away like quickly. But overall, it was, in my opinion, like a masterpiece. I enjoyed like the tension, the music, like the dancing, all of that. That was just amazing. And the scenes, there were some scenes where I was like, ugh, when the little boy is banging on the window and it breaks. That is grosses me out. It's glass. That was horrible. And then one other scene that I literally was hiding behind my hands was when he's biting the table and the splinters are coming out of his. That was fucking gross. I was literally like, ew. I couldn't. But as a fan of the Philippou brothers movies, Talk to Me was like my whole personality when it came out. But when I saw this, I truly enjoyed it just because it kind of has like similar vibes to it, but it's its own take. And I think also too, like trauma, like I love trauma horror films where not only is it like scary, but it also tugs on your heart. I cried like twice in this movie because I'm a huge like puss. Like I cry for everything. And so on those scenes where it was like very emotional, I was like, oh my God, am I supposed to be feeling this? And then next thing you know, he's putting a knife in his mouth. And I was just like, what the hell? These roller coaster emotions. I couldn't. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like you, it was predictable, but overall, to me, I think this is so far the best horror film of the year, in my opinion. And I think this is because I went into it. It's unique, it's original, and it gave me everything that I wanted. Luckily, the trailer didn't reveal too much because I hate when trailers spoil the whole freaking movie. And going into it, I was surprised from beginning to end.
All right. I'm gonna go to JR next, but before he starts talking, let's go ahead and
Review comment.
Hold on a second.
Blind.
All right, I left off after Adam. Here we go. I love these new directors. You know, that's a good point that she brings up. Is a lot of the new horror now that's really good, and not good because they're like these like overproduced like blockbusters, but there are legit movies that are made on a small budget with relatively unknown actors, but they're really visceral and they're going for it. So yes, absolutely, I bring in more new directors. I appreciate that. And also my friend drew my PFP. Oh, okay. So what is it? No, I know, I see what it is, but does it hold any special significance? Because I don't recognize.
I read that completely wrong, by the way, too.
Oh, I see.
I read that completely wrong.
Let's hear it, Joe. What you read?
No, it's actually no.
Oh.
Yeah, it's totally not.
Pay for it.
All right. Never mind, Adam. Sorry. All right, let me see. Yep, just a little cozy, just a little crazy, Joe. Sure, that's Adam replying back to something, Joe. And we got a good bro right here, JR. Please share any thoughts. Yes, please share any thoughts or anything you want to talk about. We are here for you. Thank you for that, JR. Absolutely. Drop the comments in. Give us your opinion on Bring Her Back. Let us know your thoughts and talk to me as well. If you want to compare them, absolutely do that because we're going to talk about that a little later. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Let me just read these before I got to start reading these.
You're good.
All right. Who did y'all feel the most bad for? For me, it's Connor. Who's Connor? Wait, Connor.
Connor Bird was the little boy.
The kid that was,
Oh, that's
Yes,
his real
boy.
name. That's his real
That
name.
was,
Yeah.
Connor
That's his
Bird.
real name. Yeah. Me. Who wants to answer that first?
Connor
I felt-
Bird is the possessed boy.
Yeah. That's.
I'm gonna say Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt more bad for Andy because
Yeah.
Andy,
Yeah,
100%.
Andy was gaslit and then thrown a flamethrower.
Exactly. He was getting
Yes.
shit on the whole movie, man. I gotta go with
Yeah.
Andy, so.
also he was forced into that situation and he just wanted to protect his sister and that is where I'm like, oh, like you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Like, open your eyes.
She was peeing on him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh God, yes.
Can I also mention what is with A24 and naked old people? Like,
JR,
That's
JR,
I-
JR loves old people in
That's
movies.
24.
He
Like-
does. And where did I want to say the first one is
Well, to
because
be
I think,
fair, that guy was probably younger than at least I know he's younger than me. The dad, right? That's, Mark, that's
No,
what you're referring to?
in the beginning when they're doing the ritual, and
Beginning
it's
of
on
the movie.
Yeah, and they're recording. There was a naked person.
my
Hold on,
God.
all right, hold on,
Yes,
one
it
second,
made
one
me
second,
think
one
of-
second.
It made me
He
think
had
of
the tiny
Hereditary.
whities. He had the
Hold on,
tiny
can I say
whities.
something real quick? Then I promise I'll make it short. I mistimed myself in this movie. I walked in, the movie was already started. I started right before the dad got it. There was
Okay.
something before that?
Yeah,
Yes.
so right
Yes.
before that, they were showing kind of like it felt like a found footage, like
The video
Found footage.
cassettes that Laura was
like
watching, right?
VHS, yeah. And so
Yeah.
they're showing all these recordings that
Oh,
people
wow.
were doing.
I'm sorry, yeah, I missed
Yeah,
all that.
so when it starts with that, and they show this fat guy. I thought he was naked too, by the way, JR. If you saw Tidy Whities,
He's
but I'm
Tidy
sitting there
Whities.
like, what is up with? And I'm like, this is Hereditary. Like, why does it have to be? And listen, I'm in my 50. I know I'm not old, but like. Right?
Yeah, that too. The kissing your
Yeah,
dad.
I
that
hated the
dad-
scene where they
That's part of the
adopted mom.
gaslighting.
I was
Ugh.
like, why? Like, what's the end game with that? That's a little.
And
It
then
was
she
so
ki-
cringe.
And then she kisses him, and I'm like, oh my god! Like
I thought she
ew.
was okay. She's kissing him because she wants some kind of essence from his like bodily fluids or some shit. I don't know. Don't be so hard on this predictability. It was still very tense and an exciting movie. Well, all right. Well, Adam, what I would say to that is predictability depends on each individual user. For me personally, I don't. As long as the payoff is good, predictability isn't bad per se.
Yeah.
It depends where it goes and how it lands. That's how I always see that. All right, Joe. Sorry about that. You're muted, brother.
Muted.
It's
Also,
funny because I'm gonna love seeing like his comments through here because he's gonna try to get validation from people on here against me. So, what were you gonna say, Mark?
As all like horror fans, I feel like we're already at that point as a viewer. Like when we go in, we already know what the film is going to be within 5 and 10 minutes of the film because
Yep.
we're so used to the concept of how a horror film works. So unfortunately, like as like diehard horror fans, the predictability is always going to be something we have to like deal with. But like you said, the payoff at the end, it's whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah, I agree.
I would have resolved that by having the fact that she had a nanny and the nanny had lost her child. And then she was now using this woman to be able to get kids to find herself. And that way, Sally Hawkins would have been like, "Oh no, like what? It wasn't me, And meanwhile, Nanny takes off with her new kid. Now, that'd be a little good twist out there.
Mhm.
And since I said a little good twist, the other person who's kind of thinks the same way as I do sometimes, JR, as the eyebrow went up. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on the movie. Everybody, just if you drink.
All right,
take a
so
drink,
I,
I'll
you know,
take a smoke.
this is where. All right, so on the predictability, this is the issue with the predictability is the fact that when the movie's predictable and you're hoping for the payoff, when the film gets lost in translation as far as certain things in the movie kind of throw the movie off its course. This is where, and I love slow burns, but when a slow burn goes in a certain direction and gets lost, I feel like when it tries to bring itself back to where, to where the film started is that where I feel like, all right, because I watched this with Priscilla. And at the end of the film, we're sitting there and I looked at her, I said, "What'd you think?" She goes, "This film was all over the place." She goes, "It was all over the place. It was, if you're going to have predictability, the counter to predictability is ambiguity." And this is where when we talk about, talk to me, this is where I'm going to compare to both films at, is the fact that as you're watching this film, I did want different twists. I wanted the lady who was putting these kids in the foster homes to be tied to, the character. So that she's the one sending these kids to her. And basically, this is why it's being covered up. But the fact that didn't happen kind of like pissed me off a little
You
bit.
mean Wendy?
Yes, I wanted there to be a tie because
feel
the
that.
whole time you were thinking that she belongs to a cult. She had the symbol of a cult on her hand, but that was never talked about at all during the film. So the whole time she's watching this video, which Priscilla's like, "So how did she get all these ideas just by watching the video?" You
She
know,
had
so
a cult necklace
The
too.
dark web.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
but
was-
it
I
was-
think she was probably there. She might have been the one.
but
who
you don't
recorded
know. But this is where you don't know, because the fact that the film didn't go into it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of things. And don't get me wrong, her character was amazing. I thought all the performance in these films were good. I mean, the fact that Sora Wong, who played Piper, had no acting experience, the fact that she actually is limited sight in real life, and she played it basically. She was natural for the role. All the characters in this film were good, but where it was driving me a little crazy is like, all right, they're going a little bit all over the place as far as stick to the premise of the film. The premise of the film is you're trying to bring your child back, and you're trying to use the occult. Now, there were things. Now, yes, I know sometimes you got to suspend disbelief in films, but the fact that there was a lot of things, and I look for the little details. And Rick's the same way. He looks for the little details. So one of the details that was throwing me out, I was like, "Yo, how's it raining like crazy, and the freaking white marks, the white powder is still intact?"
Was that chalk or paint though?
It
That's
might
a
have
good
been
question.
paint. It might have been
I
Salt.
think it was
But-
chalk. It was chalk
but-
because
Oh, I
when
thought
they
it was
kicked
salt.
I thought it was
Yeah,
salt
it-
too.
Yeah, it wasn't paint.
Oh.
It
Well,
wasn't
if it's
paint.
salt, that's worse than chalk then, because salt would have just evaporated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm
Would've-
saying
would've,
that the whole
like,
time.
Oh,
Yeah, it would have coagulated
Because they
into
keep
like.
it easier. If it was paint, it wouldn't have gotten
True.
kicked when they.
Well,
he
no,
got
paint.
dragged
Once
across.
enough water would have gotten on, would have started bubbling and peeling.
But even
off.
before the water,
So-
when they crossed and he started having that attack, wasn't even
Mhm.
raining.
No,
But then it was
yeah,
pouring
it
like
was like
crazy. I'm
powder.
sitting there like, why is this
I'm
shit still
saying,
there?
I'm thinking possession. It's salt. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
'cause
Oh, so, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, little things like that. I mean, I feel like yes, the gore scenes in this film were pretty cool, pretty original. But I felt like the gore scenes there were so many gore scenes because the fact that the story was being lost. So as a horror fans, we see that in a lot of films where they bank a lot on the gore, and at the same time, you want more on the story. Like I want a little bit more. Like all right, she drowned in the pool. You know, what was her name? I forget again.
Kathy.
Kathy. Yes, I wanted to know more about Kathy. They should have had a little bit more about her. Like one of the most touching scenes in the film is when she's sitting there with Piper and they're looking at videos of oh God, what's her name again? Ashley. And that was a touching moment. So there were touching moments in this film where you, all right, build on this, please build on this. But then they will go a different direction. It's like, might sound like I'm bashing the movie. I went into this movie because there was a massive hype on this movie.
Huge.
And that's
it's the follow up to a big hit. So
yes.
and that's hard
yeah.
to sometimes do.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, like, when you watch both films, where's the real connection? Well, we'll talk about that later. But for me, it's like before I watched this film, I didn't see Talk to Me, so I went in this film totally fresh.
Oh wow.
Totally fresh. And one of the things that Priscilla hit on is she was like, all right, if we didn't see Talk to Me, then you figured this film, for somebody who just watched this film for the first time, they should have more information, more backstory on the demon or how you lock the body in. So she said that, I mean, granted, we watched Talk to Me today.
Well, they're not related. Is that
Yeah.
what you're getting at?
They're two different films.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
they're
a
two-
sequel
Yeah.
or no.
No, hold up. But this is the thing. There are two different films. But when you see Talk to Me, you see the kid. They both had the red eyes.
Yeah,
They
but
both had similarities.
even if it's within the same
Mm.
universe, that's just like
the thing is, yeah. But there's lots. But then,
salad dressing.
right. But then this is where you could have weighed the story down a little bit more, if they're not similar. Because when you see the two kids in both films, with the red eyes, with the possession, with the biting themselves, it kind of leads to like, all right, is there a real connection to it? So if there's not a really connection
Yeah,
to it,
fair enough,
then
yeah.
you should basically take the story and make it separate. So for me, there was a lot of aspects of this film that I enjoyed a lot, but I feel like there were too many plot holes and empty gaps that could have been filled, but they were filled with all the gore scenes.
So do you think if you would have got more like storyline of what she went through leading up to the kids coming to the home, that would have brought you in more? Or
More like, at what point did she find this footage? At what point did she get this connection to the
Right.
supernatural elements that you could see the beginning stages that wow, it drove her to the point that she reached out to this
Got
to
it.
get her child back. By
Yeah.
not having that, I felt like there was a lot of questions in the film, and the fact that we're getting most of the information from her watching the videotape,
Yeah.
which for me is like how many videotapes do you have?
Yeah.
How many notes are you taking?
Right.
And
Like, did she find it on Google, YouTube?
Explain how you knew about the circle. So there was a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that could have been explained a little bit more, but they relied a lot on the gore.
I think a prequel would be kind of. I think it's needed just because I would love to see the original story of that first opening scene
Yes.
with the ritual. I think that would be amazing.
There should have been a connection between her and that
Mhm.
ritual.
Yeah. I get it.
Well, I mean, they might, because their movies are basically supernatural. It could be maybe eventually you'll get explanations to some of these if they're working on trying to build something. Rick, I'm going to go to you next, but before I do, if you want to hit up the comments so that way you don't get backed up reading them.
Bro, I'm more upset. I don't know where I'd be leaving off. Hold on.
You
I
left
got
off-
it.
All right.
All
I
right.
did
Gotcha.
answer her question.
It's Mama Rose. I need to see this one. Who wants to kidnap me from work and take me to see it? Well, I think the closest people would either be Rose. I mean, her, Lexi
Actually,
or Joe.
Joe is closer to my mom than I.
There you go, Joe. Joe, you better put on your gloves again. So, all right. Adam M. Sorry. I'm watching these against my will, so I think I'll like it. If Oh, so Joe, you be dragging them to the theater to see this film?
Of course I do.
I also force you both to see it. This movie was frenetic. Frenetic. Wow, frenetic.
I love that word.
Was it? Now what? All right, I could see that. I did feel like there was no twist in this movie, to be honest. I don't think this was a movie that was made to have a twist per se in it. A lot of people, that's the one thing with movies now. Everybody always expects a twist, and when there's not a twist, people are disappointed. That's the problem. Yeah.
I think this one was more like shock factor.
Yeah. All right, and I wonder if, when it rained, the directors were like, "Oh, dang, the white lines washed away again." All right, everyone, another lap. Yeah, you know what? JR brought up a good point. I never thought about that. Like, it did rain a lot, and I assumed myself it was paint. That's why I didn't wash off. But it is a ritual. Yes, it could be salt. It could be chalk. That's a good point. I didn't think about that one. Could be sugar. Ooh. I hope that these directors are making. Oh yeah, a new horror universe. Well, again, talk to me.
They are talking about the kids.
Talk
and, like,
to
how
Me is coming out soon.
it's coming out soon.
Oh man. See,
They
come
have
on,
two
guys.
They have two scripts right now
No.
for Talk to Me too, and so they're working on it.
Well, and it's actually Talk, and then the number 2.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
All right, but Rick,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
against it. I'll watch it. I like it when people give us original ideas. Going from Talk to Me to a completely brand new IP, that's a good sign. But not if they're gonna go back to Talk to Me. That's the producers and the production companies telling them,
Asking them,
we don't want that. We want this again because it made money. That's all right. For me, the performances in this movie really carried it. Sally Hawkins was fucking amazing. Unfortunately, because it's a horror film, she's not gonna win no awards, but I think she would definitely be a contender. She's great. I mean, she carried that character because, oh man, that character was very eccentric, very not trustable. I would never trust her, especially if I'm Andy. All the warning signs were there from the beginning, but I just loved the film and as a visual. It was dark and moody. Yes, it was raining a lot, and it was just a depressing atmosphere. But the problem with that is that the first half was a lot of that. And to me, it doesn't really pick up as far as like my interest until like the halfway point. Not that I was bored per se for the first half, but it was dreary. It was sad, and like you don't really like. There's like no cheers in it. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is gonna be a different type of movie than I've seen for a while because it reminds me of Hereditary. That's what this movie reminded me of.
Yeah.
That feeling, that it evoked. But the sound design was great. The background voices that they added into this, like when Oliver was like pretending to be Andy and he's calling for Piper, it just the way that it echoed throughout the theater here and over there. It just the hairs in the back of my neck stood up like, oh, great sound design, and it's very subtle. It didn't go over the top with it, and I think that was a really good way to add those elements into the soundscape. And GR had mentioned the gore. See, I see my strength in this movie was it was a great use of gore and it was not overdone. Because to me, the gore didn't really come in until like almost the halfway point in the movie, and the gore that was in it. Joe, mouth horror. I thought of you. I'm like, God, another movie involving teeth. And the interesting part was when the character of Oliver was biting the table, it was actually made out of like chocolate and stuff. But for the sound design, an actual producer within the movie, or whoever was in charge of sound design, was actually biting into a table to get the actual authentic sound.
Nice.
So that's why it sounded so real. But you know, as a kid, they're not gonna have the kid do that. So I like that effort put into it, and it was great. I think the kid eating himself or biting people, and thank God they didn't hurt Junkman, because I was about to say, Jesus Christ. That's why I was so on edge throughout the movie, because the fucking cat. I'm like, oh my God, they keep showing this cat. He's toast.
I thought about you.
And
I know, like 2 or 3 times in the pool with the cat strangling.
Yeah, forget the people. I'm worried about
Like,
Junkman.
I did think of you, Rick. I did think of you.
But he escaped, thank God, and that was that. But yeah, the first half to me felt slow, but it really picked up in the creep factor and the intensity midway point. And yes, I do agree, some scenes were confusing though, as far as like the flashbacks. I know you guys talked about predictability, and yes, when it's called Bring Her Back, and she lost her daughter, and I know what she's trying to do, but to me, maybe because I missed the first 5 minutes of the movie, but my curiosity was with how she was gonna bring her back. Because she watched the tapes, but again, I assumed, okay, she acquired these tapes. Now, I thought we were going to find out why, but that is a little bit of a negative, though. They never really told us, was she really in this occult, or did she find these within the dark web, for example? Did she do research or did she has a friend that knows this weird shit and let her hear? But we didn't get any of that.
Wendy.
So that's a flaw I do agree with GR with, but it still doesn't hamper it, because I don't want to get told everything. I'd rather see things and try and put it together. And the thrill of the movie became to me, all right, how is she trying to do this? So every time she will go back and watch those VHS tapes, that's where the movie really picked up for me. Like, oh. And then once I found out like what's going on with Oliver, because I didn't know what the fuck was up with this kid. But the fact that when we found, like, when he first left the chalk line and he was all like, convulsing, I didn't know at the time that is like the demon is being expelled from him, or the angel, as they call it.
At that
We didn't
point.
know that. At least I didn't know that. Maybe I missed something, but
In
we
the
didn't know
beginning,
that.
they show this.
That would be the beginning.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But again, even if I saw the beginning, I wouldn't have made a difference, because I still would have been like, okay, I get that now, but how exactly is she gonna do this? And then when you saw the other tips, like the one demented person in that clips, like devouring one person and then regurgitating into the other person, I'm like, what the fuck? And then we find out it has to be done by, they have to die the same way. So we kept getting these sprinkles and these nuggets throughout the film, and at least to me, it was predictable, but I didn't mind it because of that. It kept sprinkling. Okay, now they're telling us. They're working backwards now. Now they're telling us, boom, boom, this is her plan. But I think the character Laura, I know GR said he wanted Wendy to be involved, but I disagree, because I like the character Laura, because they said, how did you not vet these people or nothing? She goes, no, she used to work here. So that tells me she was never like that. And the reason why, yes, and the movie's about grief. It's about Laura and her grief. And then she lost her daughter, and she can't get over that. And she found a way how to bring her back. It was a horrible idea to begin with. But the reason why I say, like, what grief can do to you, it turns you into some kind of monster. You could tell she didn't want to kill people. She would have killed Wendy when she had the chance, but by the time she did it, what a fantastic kill scene that was, by the way, when she hit her with the fucking van.
Dude, she fucked them up.
Awesome looking. That looked great. And
I was like, "Ay."
Yeah.
that looked amazing. I love shit that looks practical that way. Probably a dummy, but I'd rather have a dummy than a CGI person flapping and it looks all weightless.
Facts.
But the fact that it drove her to that, but when Piper called her mom or mommy, whatever it was, that she repented. Oh, I can't do this to this girl. And I like that. And I did like that Andy died because I don't like always the same happy endings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the dark endings. You know what I'm saying? Right, Gia? You don't agree?
I hate happy endings, man.
Yes.
They're not realistic.
They're not. They're not. Thank you, Gia. That's what I was trying to say. Like, I like that Andy did die, and the fact that Piper survived, I did like, because Piper was the most likable character in this movie because of her handicap, and just she was just a lovable person to begin with, and seeing her going through this without, and like when Andy said he always lied to her about things he's seen and what's going on because he didn't want to he didn't want her to see how ugly the real world was.
Yeah.
I know Mark mentioned like tearing up. I didn't tear up, but I felt that like, damn,
That emotion.
that was a good line because that shows how much he cares for Piper. But yeah, so I love all that, and the directors really know how they know how to control themselves, because I don't think this was a gore fest, but the gore that was there was fucking great, and the reveal of Kathy as the corpse still in the fucking freezer, and then the way like it ended with Laura, you know, with her corpse in the pool, like kind of, you know, it's like a juxtaposition to like Kathy's real life death in the pool. So I loved all that. So I think the way the film kept revealing the secrets and the plot bits, it all clicked, and it was morbidly pleasant, this film, I would say. By the time it was over, I think I really did enjoy it more because of the performances and the practical use of the gore, and when they did use the gore, because again, I didn't think this was a gore fest or nothing like that. It wasn't, because the first half was like, it was slow. It was really, and I was like, and I'll be honest, I was like, oh man, like JR said, this movie's hyped up. God, this better pick up. But when it did pick up, then I go back and okay, we needed that kind of build. So overall, I would say I left out of this movie depressed, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the greatest feeling to walk out in a horror movie. All right, Miss
Well,
Lexi.
when I say the good way, I say like this was a really, I mean, again, it's not perfect because yeah, there was plot holes, and like for example, I will say this: the scene where they got drunk, I hated that scene because I hate it when movies take drinking like it's we're having fun. No, that Piper's never drank in her life. She would have been puking her brains out. She would have. They would have woke up with so much. The hangover, but the next morning they're up and about, happy like nothing happened. They wake up feeling better than me. Like Jesus Christ, no way. There's no way. That's so fake, and that's my biggest negative. That just took me out. Like I hate when filmmakers put scenes like that in it, and then the next morning they're good. No man, you ain't gonna be good. You're gonna be hung the fuck over, especially Piper. Come on.
Well, he did wake up with piss on his.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yes, but that's the piss.
Her piss.
Yeah, her piss.
Ooh, her
so-
piss. Ooh.
I forgot to mention the part where she punches her in the face.
Piper.
That was the best scene in the movie for me.
I was like, oh my god, the child abuse.
Yeah.
That was
Gets her
funny.
drunk too, then punches her in the eye.
Yeah.
Probably so she can feel it at first, or she'll recover. She'll be so drunk the next day. It's kind of like giving her painkillers for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
All right, Miss Lexi.
All right. So we saw this Wednesday morning. That's probably why there was absolutely nobody else. I think it was just one girl that was behind us. So, but I forgot she was even there. For me, I'm on the same wavelength as JR. I did catch Wendy's occult necklace, bracelet, and all that, or whatever it was. So I thought, and she kind of acted weird when she was like,
I mean,
okay,
Laura, right?
sorry.
Laura.
No, Wendy, the social worker,
So
sending the
she
kids
had an
off
occult
to
necklace?
Laura. It was either a necklace or bracelet or something that gave the signal of, oh, so she's in some type of Satanist shit. So I felt like, oh, okay. And she was kind of acting weird too in the conversation, like, you're going to be going to this home and you're going to be going to, oh, we're not getting separated. And she kind of gave that side eye, like, okay, well, I'm going to try. And she ends up sending them both to Laura. I loved Laura. She was freaking fantastic. She was definitely quirky. She was definitely, like Rick said, someone I would not trust. And so for Andy to be apprehensive, I feel him. And I think out of all the characters, Andy was my favorite besides Laura, because I just felt like both of them were carrying the film. Those two were. However, again, I'm on the wavelength as JR. I wanted more about Wendy as well. I literally thought she was going to be like the twist, or I thought she was the plot twist. And it just never came back to that. And the random moments of the occult tapes, how did she get these tapes? Where did they come from? Was it from YouTube? Did you Google this? Like, it doesn't, even in the 5 minutes that you missed, Rick, it doesn't explain. It was just the video. It was a found footage moment, and that was it. And so
right. I do wish they expanded more on that, to be honest with you. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. However, the gore parts, oh my God, every fiber of my skin, or like hair on my skin, stood up with, especially the knife part. I was like, oh, and like, you guys know me. I love blood, guts, and gore. Broken bones, and now new fear unlocked. Teeth. Yeah, just like
mouth horror.
And I was like, no. And then biting the table, and then the teeth breaking little piece by, not even like one tooth at a time. One tooth split in half, each single one. So I was like, oh my God. And then the scene where the car comes in and hits. So there was definite good parts. However, this is my knock on it. It reminded me, and let me just, full disclosure, the two directors, the brothers, they're fantastic. What they're doing is fantastic. I like that they're upcoming and new. They are bringing a new taste into the horror genre. So I do appreciate that. However, this has been done before. It reminded me a lot of Anything for Jackson, Pet Sematary, and anytime it reminds me of another movie that's like a point off already for me. Because it reminded me of 1989 Pet Sematary and 2020 Anything for Jackson, because we had the grandparents trying to bring back the grandson. And then obviously we all know what happens in Pet Sematary, the grief of the parents losing their child. However, I did like the twist of there was no parents involved. This was a brother and a sister fighting for their life, basically. So I do like that different partake in this film. I do love the bond between Piper and Andy. Grapefruit, motherfuckers. Grapefruit. So I just loved their signal, their love for each other. Like we told the commenter, my daughter, Andy is who I felt so bad for. He was extremely gaslit from beginning to end. Even before in his lifetime where he was talking about his dad, he was gaslit through his father. All the way to the very bitter end. In the scene where he gets hit, like I saw them both walking together, and I saw that she went freaking flying, Wendy, when she got hit by the car. I was not sure about the brother because he kind of like went sideways. So I wasn't sure. I was like, please don't die, please don't die, please. And then the whole but you could hear he was barely gasping for air. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, I think that part, and I felt like I walked out the same way Rick did. I walked out depressed. I even looked over at my daughter and she was like, the first thing she said was, this is why you seek therapy. And then I said, she goes, how was that? I was like, it's okay. I don't know how to feel about that. I just have to reel back. Like, this broke my heart. It does go down as one of the saddest endings. I think it goes on that list with like The Mist and Mama. And this is definitely on the list of sad endings. Now, touching on the part where he's like giving him a pen and a paper and was like, write down anything you want so we can communicate. I love that he just wrote bird. I'm like, did I miss something? Where's the bird? I saw cat, but where's the bird?
I thought he wrote bird.
Yeah, he wrote his last
bird.
name.
Oh,
he wrote his last name, yes. Connor Bird.
Yeah.
Connor Bird.
And then, that's when he made the connection at the police station.
I thought that was nice. That was a good reveal.
Yes, that was a good reveal.
I thought he wrote something completely different. So yeah, that's pretty cool. He's still in there. I like that.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that he was like the carrier of what he was supposed to bring back. Like, he was the carrier of the soul, or whatever you guys want to interpret that.
He's an angel. That's Laura says.
He was the transfer of Piper or Kathy to Piper. He was basically the soul transfer, or whatever occult fucking shit she looked up. We'll never know how she got to it. So again, there's good takes. It was definitely unique, definitely predictable, like you guys said. However, it's been done before in a different way. It's just their version of it, and I do like it. I appreciate, you know, the movie itself. It was a different take. However, it did remind me of 2 other films. I thought about it when I was watching it, and when I sat back to take my notes and just like contemplate everything, I was like, yeah, reminds me of those 2 films. But again, digressing back to Connor Bird, I did like that reveal, and the fact that he had that mentality: do I want to stay in this god awful body, or am I going to cross the line and just get back to my life? And when he said, "My name's Connor Bird," I was like, oh, thank God. So him and Piper survived. The scene at the end where the mother is just like drowning with her daughter, like she's letting go finally. What am I doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I thinking?
You slit her wrist,
And
right?
it was just a sad. Oh, I don't know. I just
No,
thought
I
she
like
was
it.
drowning
Yeah,
with her
She cut
daughter.
herself, didn't she? Though before she went into the pool.
Well, I didn't. There
Because
was
when
no
she
blood.
grabbed her from the refrigerator, did she was cutting her arm. What was that for? Gio, you're muted. Gio,
No,
would know.
that's why Connor bit her. 'Cause he bit her.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
But she had a knife.
Connor
though. She
better.
was cutting
No,
into
no,
it.
no. No, she wrapped it up.
She wrapped it up.
She
Well,
wrapped it up
that was
because
before,
Connor bit
yeah,
her.
but
Connor bit the shit
I
out
thought
of
she
her.
Wow.
sliced herself to die with her in the pool.
No,
That's what I thought.
unless
No, because there was
she
no
knew
blood
that
around
might-
her.
Well,
There
unless
was
she
no
knew
blood
that
around
might-
her in that water.
Yeah, she basically took it off and opened up the wound more, so where she could bleed more.
Yeah,
That's
she
what he
died.
did.
Oh,
That's what I
she
figured
stuck
to
her
die.
fingers in. That's right.
Because she's not going
Yeah,
to
Stuck her
prison.
fingers
I
in.
figure, all right,
Yeah,
I'd rather
yeah,
just
no.
die with my daughter. That's
Yeah,
how I took it.
She reached for
Yeah.
like all the important veins that you
Yeah.
can like pop to basically die.
Okay.
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
She did.
That-
She grabbed it.
By the way,
He-
that wound was
Yeah.
gnarly. She should have died immediately. All that blood. There's no way
Yeah.
you're gonna fix that fucking.
No, not at all. Not gonna
Like I said, great film, great directors. I love you, Andy. It's so unfortunate he passed away. And you guys are right. Like, I guess I'm just a little softy. I wanted the happy ending where the brother got to sign the papers and he adopts his sister, but I didn't see that, and I
To
was
be-
really
to-
upset. Andy died.
You're right. To be fair, once Andy sent her that voicemail, I knew he was done. When he sent her that
Yeah.
message. But what was really sad
Yeah.
was when Piper found his corpse and she ran her fingers through his braces to confirm who it
Heartbreaking.
Oh,
Yeah.
That I
It was
felt
really
like
sad.
I felt that was
Yeah.
that was good little touch, little good.
I didn't want her to be alone, but
And now
overall,
she
good
is.
film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully the people
Yeah.
that picked her up are
Jesus
nicer.
Christ, y'all
Right.
depressing.
That's
Yeah.
the movie, bro.
Y'all making this beer taste like all sad and shit.
Brother. Beer could never taste sad for me, bro. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. All right, so let's go ahead and give our score. But before we do,
Real quick.
say
Hello, my
hello.
favorite horror fiend crew, Selena V. What up, son?
Hey, Selena.
Selena.
Hi.
Always a
Hey.
pleasure. Late, but I'm here. Yeah, that's what
No,
counts.
we
all
were
that
on
matters.
time. We were on time tonight, so
It's all good.
that was
You're the
That's
one
the-
that's late this time.
I was,
We don't got Adam on our asses. So.
no, I was kind of late. I got the new internet, and the guy literally didn't leave here till almost 6. I'm
No,
like,
it's all
I got
good.
so
You're
much
good, brother.
to do now. But yeah, so
Yo,
we'll
by
go
the way,
ahead.
great haircut, Joe. Great haircut,
Thank
bro.
you.
The
That was
side
good.
profile, you look like a G.I. Joe action figure now.
Work it.
Getting ready to watch a Superman movie.
Ah, yeah.
Well, no, I mean I need to send you, and it's hot in Florida, so I needed to feel air on my head because you know when you got too much air, you do not feel that air. And
Yeah.
Lexi has long hair, so she probably has no
Oh, we-
idea.
we got
I'm
what-
sweating right now, to
We
be
got
honest.
Florida weather today, bro. It's fucking insane. It's crazy because remember I told you I had the door open earlier for the air conditioning. You know, somebody walks in to ask me a question, they close the fucking door. Now I'm fucking sweating my balls off, bro. So, let's go.
All right, so I'll go ahead and since I'm gonna go in the same order that we went before. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. You know, again, if you have not watched our channel before, we rate from 1 to 5. 3.5 is really not all that bad. But again, I know that you know you didn't want a happy ending. Yes, I got that. Lexi mentioned about being taken out of the movie. I thought about Bruce Willis's death when Andy died. So for those little things, and you know, the fact that like it was so easy to figure out, that I mean, for me, that's why it's a 3.5. So, Mark,
I'm gonna give it a 4, just because, like our conversation today, I think the backstory would have definitely moved it over to a 5. And the reason why I gave it a 4 is just because overall, like, it left me full of different emotions, and I love when horror films do that. Um, and overall, it was just a beautiful watch. I loved everything about it, so a 4 for sure.
all right, Jr.
So, the lesson in this film is that if there's a possessed kid that looks pregnant coming after you, just kick it in the stomach because that's the best way to defeat the demon. One of the best ways to defeat the demon. But which is another thing that threw me off. But for me, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And I didn't want to go lower and higher because I do feel like the acting carried this film. And I feel like if those plot holes would have been shortened, like Rick said, that did that drinking scene need to really be there when they could have focused on another aspect of the film, like how she got
Right.
the footage and
tape.
stuff. So, a little backstory on that. I did still want Wendy to be part of the twist, only because this is the person who's in charge of giving kids away to foster care. So that would have been opened up a little bit more if there was a bigger thing to it, and if she could have gotten killed anyways, because Laura could have been like, well, you know, you're gonna assist me out, you're gonna, you know, I went against what you want to do, I'm gonna kill you anyways. So she could have gotten killed off anyways. But for me, yeah, I'll give it 3.5.
All right, Ricky.
I went into this film. I don't watch trailers at all. I didn't know anything about this. And yeah, what I got was a film that, yes, there was like some plot holes that needed to be covered up. But again, I don't need to have all that information as long as I enjoyed the ride getting there. But there was a bit of confusion in there. So, and you guys did bring up valid points, GR especially bringing up a lot of plot hole elements. But this is a 4 for me. It's a strong 4. I think the acting in this film, it treated the film. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't like it talked to me, which we will get. To me, I found that silly. This was not silly. This was a fucking like a tour de force and like mental like health and anxiety and what you could withstand and being uncomfortable. You know, like seeing her urinate and just gaslighting Andy and just turning Piper against him. And we didn't mention this when Laura punched Piper in the fucking head when she was sleeping.
No, Jared mentioned
Bro,
it.
like I can't ignore stuff like that. This movie, I don't fault it for predictability or because every movie does that. And I know I know Lexi didn't like it because it reminded her of the films, but every film is based on something. There's nothing truly original anymore. Like the next zombie film, I can't say, I don't like it because Night of the Living Dead came out. No, you can't. That's how I see it. But it's a solid 4. I think if we would have gotten more backstory with the occult, because we don't know what her situation is with the occult. Was she always in it? Did she just find it? And I like the fact that it's about grief. It's her grief. This is Laura's story. It's not Andy's story. It ain't Piper's. It's Laura's story. And if we would have got a little bit more about that, my score would have been higher. It's a strong 4. Very strong 4. Very well put together. Last thing I'll say, Joe, when that fucking the rear view mirror got busted and was hanging down, I knew it would come back into play, and of course it gave us that great shot of the Joe and JR could appreciate this as a filmmaker when they showed that one shot and everything was shown through the perspective of the mirror of the broken window. Look at GR. Look at Joe. Joe's getting something from Adam right now. I could tell when Joe's distracted. So, all right, man, let's go.
I was listening to you the whole time. I
He
promise
wasn't
you.
listening to me. Go
I
ahead.
was.
I'm teasing.
Well, no, and so for me, before like the last thought I'm gonna say is I kind of thought that Laura.
She didn't get her score.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got thrown off by Ricky. Lexi.
I apologize. I apologize.
No, and I'll be honest with you. Here's the funny thing. The way that my computer's set up right now, unfortunately, the tripod it's blocking out Lexi. So I have not seen Lexi at all. I can
Oh,
only
damn.
Oh, how you
Nice.
know?
Aw.
Look at this beautiful
Damn.
face over here,
No,
bro.
that's why.
Damn.
It,
You're looking
I know.
at
I don't
you're
mean
looking
to.
at
That's
arm
why I went.
mounts, but you're
No,
not.
I'll say this: when she was talking, I went like this, so I can lean over so I can see her talk. But unfortunately, she's been blocked. So that way, in that moment, I didn't even. I'm sorry, Lexi. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. So I'm giving it a strong 3.5. Again, I needed more of the backstory from Laura, from the occult. However, this film was beautifully shot. The twists and turns of, or not twists and turns, but the gore aspect of Connor Bird, or Oliver as we knew him, were fucking awesome. And just cringe, and just like, in the gaslighting between Andy and, again, those two really carried the film. The sister did too, but I really liked the duel between Laura and Andy, because he called it from the jump, like, this bitch is crazy. And so just him being gaslighting with the pace and being punching Piper in the eye, and we got a little bit more of their backstory, or well, Andy's backstory, how he was abused as a kid. So I felt like almost that didn't need to be needed, but I don't know. I'm nitpicking, possibly. I just wanted more from this film. And again, when things remind me of other films, it just makes me, like, when what was the movie we did? The Monkey, just a few months back. It reminded me of Final Destination, and of course, I knocked a point for that.
That's
But,
not nitpicking though. That's a valid. That's a valid
I mean,
criticism.
this is why we do these shows.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that you don't have to ever defend totally why. Because it's valid, everything you're saying. This we will
Right.
all always have different. It's very rarely everybody gets the same.
Right. But if the directors are ever watching, I'm totally not hating on it. I did love the gore effect. It made me cringe, especially with the knife and the teeth breaking and the crunching of the table and the skin ripping and the bite of Laura. Like, oh. Now, a little touch on Connor.
No CGI.
I didn't watch the trailer either. I went in fucking blind. I didn't know what was going on. So when the cover of the movie, I'm thinking, oh, this is the possession film. We didn't get a lot of that.
I don't even watch
Right.
posters. I don't look at.
Well, it was all over the place. It's hard not to see.
No, I keep it moving.
Right.
Well,
But we didn't get a lot of possession of Connor. I mean, yes, here and there, but like, again, how did he like get possessed to begin with?
One more last thing. I'm sorry, Alexa. I don't mean to cut you off, but you brought up a good point. It's a nitpick. This is a nitpick. He was fucked up. And JR mentioned a big belly. He had horns protruding
from all that table eating.
But then once he crossed the line, he went back to normal. Like, all right, I don't like stuff like that, because that's just that's very into fantasy land.
And how did he get possessed? Because she saw some cult YouTube video and did the little circle. I did like the scenes where she's at the window. Like, that was creepy as fuck.
I did like all that.
I did like that.
The deep web is fucking weird, and people do go down that rabbit hole, and they will study it, and they will attempt shit like that. So I like that. That was cool.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I asked Kaylee, I'm like, well, if it was you that died, would I do that? No, I would do what she said. That's why there's therapy. So, therapy, a 3.5. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, I just held on to my, and I totally listened to everything you said. I held on to my thought. I felt that Laura was part of the cult. And as everybody was talking, I was making little connections there and having, what was the name of the other social worker?
Wendy.
Wendy wore her jewelry, obviously then maybe Laura was going to wear it because the kids might pick up that they're...
I didn't catch that. Good show.
I think that Laura was the one that recorded the videos. I think that's why I don't think that they came into her possession. I think that she recorded them and she had them.
Oh, nice.
Now,
but we'll never know.
We'll never know. Maybe in researching, she joined this group and she recorded this stuff, and probably under the premise of,
that's why she has those tapes.
And that's why, because it's a weird amount. Listen, all right, VHS is only 5 tapes because it's 5 stories, but generally it's 1 tape in a found footage. Am I right or wrong, JR?
No, you're right.
So she had multiple different ones that she kept watching. So she recorded and she got the process of every, because she couldn't, because Rick, you missed the beginning. There was different stuff going on. Some of them went wrong and they actually had to kill the person that they were trying
I'm so
to
mad
use.
now. I was like, all right, perfect. I made it right at the beginning of the fucking movie. Because listen, Mark, just for full, I don't watch trailers. I hate trailers, man. So when I time going to a theater, I time it so I miss all the trailers and I sit down as the movie starts. So as I walked in, normally I walked, all right, the trailer's about to end. I'll go use the bathroom, come back. But the movie had already started because I saw the actors. And when it was Andy, and Piper, right? And then when he was knocking on the door and they found his spot, that's when I sat down.
Okay.
So I don't watch trailers, so that's why I missed the movie.
And there weren't a lot of trailers for this one. Actually, the movie got, for at least for my theater, compared to sitting
Like
half
10
an hour.
10-minute trailers.
10 minutes. I should have asked you first before I went, because normally like 20 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Oh, I know. It's funny because I always text you guys what the trailers were, so that way if you want to miss them, this is what I saw.
Well, normally I go with my girlfriend and I have her sit in first. As I'm outside smoking, she's fucking hitting me up. All right, trailers are almost done. All right.
One quick thing before we transition, I gotta tell the story.
Yeah, go, Joe.
So we're sitting there, and Priscilla's not into gore. She's not. So she's sitting. There's a scene where he starts like biting the wood. And I'm like, oh! I grab my chocolate at the cookie dough. I'm eating it. She looks at me. She's like, how could you eat?
Yeah, and they really use chocolate for that scene. Oh shit.
I'm like, and she's like, how could you eat? She's like covering her
One
mouth.
thing I will say, JR is a funny dude because when we go see movies together, JR has a whole smorgasbord of fucking not just popcorn, hot dogs and popcorn and candy.
I had sliders last time.
JR goes all in the movie theater experience. I love it. I love it.
Well, this one was opposite. When I walked in, because we went on Saturday, which we don't do. And first of all, when we went to our parking spot, normal one, it was packed. So we had to go to the backup one. And we were out by East Bumblefuck. And Adam already said
I
we
love
are
East
not doing
Bumblefuck.
Saturday.
That's a great place.
We're not doing Saturday again. And then when we walked in, because I was like, he picked up lunch for us. So I'm like, I just need a soda for the Cottonmouth. And the line for the concession was super long. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So then I remember there's a bar, so I got a beer for that one.
Yeah, Joe, this is for you, Joe. Here we go.
I was going to say the beer.
Hello, my handsome. Oh, but not this one. Sorry. Yes, my Joey, looking handsome. I love the cut. And of course, back off, Selena. Oh, Adam, by the way, you were both. By the way, you both like, oh, okay, Adam and Joe. Handsome fellas. They are handsome fellas. Hold on, we got one more right here. What's this? Hold on. Get ready. We want your thoughts on Talk to Me. Let us have it. While you guys start that, I will be right back. Joe, take it away.
All right. So, as I said, this is a double feature. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for sticking around. Because generally, we do shoot for under an hour episode. However, we never got around to review Talk to Me. And everybody knows when you do horror, especially when you release a movie that everyone talks about, that everyone raves about, your follow-up has to be able to live up to the first one. So with that, we're going to talk to me. A group of friends decide to use an embalmed hand from a psychic. First of all, if you invite me to your party and you're going to pull that shit out, I'm gone. I mean, I'm going to give it, I think it's called an Irish goodbye, where you won't even let me stop to say goodbye. I'm like, I'm out. Y'all stupid.
This past December, I was going to bring a Ouija board for this, the presents, but I didn't think you would like that.
Yeah, no. We would have, because I'll tell you at the end my experience with that.
Because I still want to get invited.
You'll still be invited, but do not bring a Ouija board in our house. And actually, JR was there for when this shit happened. But yeah, so now we're going to go ahead and talk to me. As I said, a group of friends decide to play with the embalmed hand of a psychic and invite the spirit of a dead person into their body. You heard everything I said, right? Like, again, I don't think any of us would actually fucking do this. So with that, we'll go ahead and go into Talk to Me. It was written and directed by the same people that did the first one, so I'm not going to say their names. And this one stars Sophie Wilde as Mia, Alexandra Jessen as Jade, and I love Miranda Otto. I mean, she's in so many movies. She's awesome. But Miranda Otto as Sue. So I've already given the whole synopsis on the movie. So actually, it's funny. I'm going to JR because JR, I have seen this movie like 5 times, probably 5 or 6 times. But I watched it before we went live, so that way Adam could see it, in case he stays up for the second part. But you said you just watched it yourself too, and I think Lexi is also a first watch. So I'm gonna definitely be going to you guys first, but I'll start with JR first.
All right, so
shoot,
what happened?
I totally just never mind.
You
And
right?
you know why? You know what? Anyway, go ahead.
Oh,
Damn it!
All right, so this is where I'm going to start right off the bat with the comparisons. Now, where we needed more backstory and bring her back, this is where ambiguity hits perfect in the film. Talk to Me didn't have to give us a lot of backstory. It gave us snippets that were enough to just give us a little taste of what was going on with the hand. We knew we got the thing where the hand came from a medium, ceramic. That's it. We didn't have to know anything else about it. And then nothing else came up about the medium till the end of the film, which I love. But this is where the ambiguity of a film, when done correct, makes the film even better. Because the whole time I'm watching this, and this was definitely a first watch for me. I didn't watch the film. I held off on the film, to be honest, because once again, everybody was overhyping it. When a film gets overhyped, I kind of take a little step back. But for me, I enjoyed this film because it felt different. It felt very, very different. It felt like you were removing the fact that people play with the Ouija board and you're putting an actual hand in its place that you have to do two things.
Good point. There, I didn't even thought about that correlation. I mean,
because you have to say goodbye. Hello, goodbye.
It wasn't a Ouija party anymore. It was basically the hand. And the fact that I like it, there was 2 stages. First stage was you hold the hand, you say, talk to me. You see the spirit. And then you could say, there's different spirits too. So I like the fact that you had to do that first to get the spirit and the reaction from everybody. I mean, there's sometimes where they showed the spirit, there's sometimes where they didn't show the spirit. Me, I kind of like that the fact that they didn't do it, that they had to show the spirit every time. Because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't want to see the spirit of whatever got into Daniel, where he's basically making out with a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to see that spirit. And I felt bad for Daniel because every spirit that possessed him was like a freak. So
it was sexual.
It was sexual innuendo all his every time he got possessed. But and at the same time is, I don't know about you guys, but I really dislike the Mia character as I'm watching the film. Because once again, you have somebody who, yes, they are grieving, but their actions cause a whole, like a domino effect on everybody else. And I like the fact that that's what also carried the movie. You had this person who, yes, she lost her mother. Yes, she wanted to contact her mother. She put a 15-year-old's life in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then twice on 2 occasions because she wanted to finish them off later on, which I'll let somebody else talk about that. But I enjoyed this movie for something that I didn't expect. And like the acting, I'm not going to say the acting was the greatest of this film, but each character did what they had to do in the film
to get the job done.
Yes. Yep. Were there plot holes? Some. There was one scene I'm sitting there like, you know, when Mia killed her father, like, all right, what the fuck was the spirit if that wasn't her father? So that kind of confused me a little bit. I know they could imitate and become somebody or not, but that kind of threw me off a little bit because that was the most predictable thing in the whole film. I was like, all right, she's gonna kill her dad. Oh yeah, she did. But for me, it was an interesting film. It did feel fresh. It did feel different. There was not too much gore in this one, but I'm sorry, when he's smacking his head against that fucking table, dude, and he's trying to take out his eyeball, and you got all these people just watching. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is? First of all, not for nothing, I'd be like, yo, do you really want these people as your friend? And Haley and Joss were the two biggest pricks in this film too, because they were getting off of embarrassing people.
Yeah.
This film had a good cold open scene. That scene with the party, I loved.
Yep.
The opening scene is the music, the
And
way
the ending scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let other people, because the ending for me, I'm not gonna describe it for me, perfect ending for a film. But where I connect the both films too is the kids did both have the same red eyes. The kids both started attacking themselves, and they needed to eat. When he's in the hospital, he's blood on the floor, from his own blood. He's licking the whole blood off. So there was a lot of this is where I feel like they could have tied it up a little bit more, even though they did feel separate. But the fact that the kids looked the same as far as the possession, that was for me. I was like, all right, what is it? Then when bring her back, like, what is the connection to this film? And I wanted the connection. I wanted some kind of connection to this film. But for me, yeah, I think this was, for first time watch, I enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna go watch it again just in case I missed certain things. But like I said, the big take I got of this is the ambiguity in this film. We did not need to know the backstory much because it wasn't needed. Whereas in Bring Her Back, a little bit more backstory would have elevated the film even more. But for me, yeah, I think it's an enjoyable movie. I definitely recommend people watching it.
Well, and once you had mentioned about the whole, like, the kids looking the same, there was one thing in the movie is that when they met up with the brother who got stabbed, he said, "You guys let a kid do this?" So there must be something about the fact that a child should not do it.
Because they're innocent and they're more easier to possess than an adult is. Usually in possession films, the adults are broken. There's a reason that they get possessed. There's a reason that they're easy to get possessed. A child is innocent, so they're more open to the spirits. For the way I took it, because the fact is that
they're more vulnerable.
Yes.
Yep.
And he was freaked out when the spirit had that I think it was Mia that possessed had said that they want you. Like, he was already freaked out. Like, it basically had put a lock on him. And actually, I know I said I was gonna go Lexi, but because I do like to get the counters here. So Mark, I'm gonna go to you next.
So I love Talk to Me, as you can tell by my own embalmed hand up here. I bought.
Mark, before you go on, what is on the other side of your head right there?
Art the Clown.
This one?
What's that right there?
That's Art the Clown. I know where you're thinking.
Do you know what? Oh, do you
art.
know, because you have it sideways? I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what it looks like in the comic books when they have the bubble cloud?
Oh yeah.
Versus thoughts. So because it's sideways and you had this bubble cloud, and like as I'm watching you, the bubble
and
cloud.
Mark, I have art right there.
I love Art the Clown, but I mean, I know we're only.
Yes.
I just Terrifier 3. We'll have to talk about it because that's a whole nother conversation.
Art is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But now that you turned it straight up, now I can see Art, but I didn't see Art before it. Like I said, it looked like the comic book, like when somebody's saying something.
Yeah.
So in my head, as like people are talking, it's filling in.
My thoughts, my inner thoughts.
Your thoughts are coming out, but go ahead and give us some good thoughts on the movie.
So I really, really loved Talk to Me. Again, this is one of those films that were like really overhyped. And for me, it hit the nail on the coffin. I love like possession films, and the way like the cinematography, the way everything was filmed was just so good. Like when they're doing the hand segment and that they're playing that one song, and when the chair's going back and forth and the camera's just following it, it was just so beautiful to watch. Again, this one didn't really need a backstory because obviously everything has to do around the hand. And I think that is what was such a good success, is because we all know in horror films there are like items that are haunted, and we already knew the hand is what's causing all this to happen. Of course, I did feel terrible for is his name Joe Bird? Riley.
Riley.
Joe Bird's his real name. Riley. Which I don't know if you guys noticed, but Joe Bird is his real name in Talk to Me, and Bring Her Back. Bird is also his last name. So I think.
Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome. Oh, I
Yes.
love Easter eggs.
Yes.
By the way, if you ever have that again, just go fun fact.
Fun fact. Yes.
You drop the fun facts. Even though like I do that on mine, I love if somebody goes fun fact. Yeah.
I remember.
Well, actually, hold on. Rick has just popped in. Rick,
What up?
he just gave a connection to Talk to Me and Bring Her Back.
Bring Her Back, yes. So the real character's name in Talk to Me, his name is Joe Bird, which is the one that was possessed. And then, of course, Bring Her Back, the little boy's name, his real name is Bird, his last name.
Oh, I like that. They did
Yeah.
mention Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. They mentioned the title.
Mm.
By the way, quick fun fact: the I think the actor who played the dad in Bring Her Back was the actual father of the actor who played Oliver, Bird, in the movie.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I
Sorry,
didn't know that.
you reminded me of this.
All right, but go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, no, so like I was saying, overall it was just a good watch. I don't have anything negative to say. I wish, of course, it would have been cool to see a backstory of the young man who kills himself in the beginning, to see what all led him to that point. But overall, it's not needed, just because we see the whole story of these new characters who have the hand in their possession. Now, the ending is just pure like shock factor, because of course you think she's gonna kill what's his name, Riley, but she ends up taking one for the team. Or I wouldn't even say she. I guess
I thought Jade pushed her. to be honest.
yeah, she pushes her.
she did.
Yeah.
She did because she
Yeah.
wanted to be with her mom, what she
Yes.
thought was her mom.
And she ends up pushing her, and the way it ends, I don't like the way it ends, because of course it shows her she's behind the hand, which of course sets it up for a sequel, which we could be getting.
We are.
I just hope because I know they said that they have 2 different scripts, and so they haven't selected which script yet. I just hope it's a whole new story in regards to the hand. Like, I don't want the same cast to come back. I want a whole new group of friends to get a hold of the hand and see their side of the story, their way of what happens to them.
All right, Lexi, your turn.
Full disclosure, I watched this movie once, like several months ago, and then I played the movie for my daughter as I was cleaning the house, so I was listening, maybe watched a few scenes a couple of times, but I wasn't paying attention fully. What I do remember and recall is and the reasons why I love this film a slight more than Bring Her Back is because, again, it is my forte of possession. I loved the creepy sounds of the voices coming through the hand, and how that's a true possession to me. With Connor Bird, he was possessed, but he was more of like a fiend eater type. He wasn't like talking. He was mute, right? So we didn't get that scary aspect of him. We just got him a flesh table eating disease walking around the house. However, I loved the creep of right. I love the creepy voices coming through Riley and through Mia and all the characters that were possessed by touching the hand. I do love the whole 2025 version of the Ouija board with the hand, because you have to say hi and goodbye, just like on a Ouija board. I do remember the ending where she chooses to not push Riley down into the highway. She gets pushed, I guess, well, not really by her mother, but like an evil spirit that's possibly taking the vision of her mother. I don't know. But I do like that she takes one for the team, just like Mark said. And the ending was just perfect. So for me, I enjoyed this one better than the other one because it was just all up my alley with the scariness. And you guys know how I feel about a Gen Z cast with making poor decisions. Gen Z, what the fuck with your decision making? That's my only nitpick on this. However, I do like the fact that there are moments where they had huge disagreements, making poor choices, but then they come together as a team. Like, what other fucking idea do you have? What else can we do? So, oh, I can hear myself.
I'm so sorry. I put you on my phone so that way I didn't miss any word you said.
Oh,
I
thank
apologize. I
I was like, wait a minute.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I
you're
heard
good.
every word you said.
Thank you. But yeah, I just again, what would I say? Oh, so yeah, the Gen Z cast, it irks me because they make stupid fucking decisions. However, they ended up just finally saying, well, what other fucking idea do you have? Let's just go back, say goodbye to the stupid hand, and get our lives back on track. Overall, again, I like this film. Definitely a lot better than Bring Her Back. I loved Bring Her Back. I just wanted more from the story. And to bring up JR's point, this one definitely didn't need the story because the story was playing out throughout the whole film, especially with the flashbacks. I think my favorite scene of this film that I do recall and remember is where she thinks she's talking to her father and ends up killing her father. I don't know.
Yes.
It was just so, oh my God, gut wrenching. But you didn't know that was gonna actually be her killing her father. The mind twist, the confusion, like I loved it.
Oh, just something real quick. I'm sorry to go something off Mark said. I'm sorry, Joe.
I know. I'll try to
About
remember
how
it.
everything was shot. Rick's gonna appreciate. Rick's gonna remember the scene. The best shot scene in this whole film was when Mia was laying in bed, and the camera went vertical, and she walked off, and that's when she kissed Daniel. That was such a beautiful shot. When I seen that, I was like, I thought of Rick. I was like, holy shit, Rick!
Dude,
I know
he
Rick's
did
gonna
something
remember this shot.
similar and Bring It Back when Laura was in the bathtub and she submerges herself, then it
Yes.
transitions to the next scene.
Yeah.
The directors, they got an eye for visuals. I appreciate that.
Mhm. No one has mentioned the toe sucking yet.
I know.
Right.
Sorry. Alexa,
Yeah.
stop.
I forgot about that.
Well, when he explained it to Jade, I was sleeping with Mia, and she was doing something funny. I woke up and she was, when he said
Fucking
sucking,
my toe.
I was like, well, she must be thinking something else. It
And
was
it
my
was-
toe.
That was gross. I'm sorry. I have a shit about while I'm inside my house, I'm barefoot. But if I have to go into my yard, I put socks on, and I even will put my sliders on with some socks on because I don't want to be touching like 30 feet.
Well,
So-
I do that when I leave my house. When I leave my apartment, I put socks on
Oh,
my
man, but
side.
she had a big toe in the mouth.
Come
I
on,
hate
JR.
feet.
You don't got
I
a
fucking
toe
hate
fetish,
feet.
JR?
Oh, what the? She had the toe and,
No.
the toe right next to it. I'm like, holy shit.
And it's all right. I'm
I
gonna go
hate
to Rick.
feet too.
If I interrupt you and I go, I remember now, it's because there was something Lexi had
No,
said.
that's
that I
fine.
wanted to say.
I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it short.
Okay.
I felt Talk to Me was very original when I first. I mean, I saw this movie. It felt like ages ago. So I saw it twice, but again, a long time ago. I didn't have a time to watch it again, but it felt very original at the time.
Sorry, Adam's interrupting.
Go.
He wants to be part of the
I know,
show.
there's-
Never said anything to me.
No, he's coming out because did you know there's an Alien Earth coming out? Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna watch it.
We'll probably
Yes, Adam.
We will
There'll
review
be a
the season.
review for that also.
Adam's the man. But this, I think, Talk to Me was in like some weird amalgamation of like creepy and silly, which the silly parts I wasn't too like into. Honestly, I don't like silly in my horror, but it was a good reveal at the end, especially when we found Mia was on the opposite end now. I love that. I'm sorry. I think that was such a clever way to end the film. Go on.
That's what it was. Because the thing is, when Mia ended up at the end, the fucking hand was in Australia, and it was in a different country. So gave the feels that there's more than one hand out there. And somebody said, oh, actually, I can't remember the name. JR, what's the name of the two that? JR says both their names. The two that brought the hand out.
Haley and Josh.
Haley had said the story that the other hand is still out there.
Oh, good shout. I didn't think about this.
Haley said the other
If
hand
there's
is
one
still
hand,
out there.
it's got to be another. Yeah.
And they said it's out there because for me, I was like, well, how the fuck? And I don't know what, because they didn't even say what country it was. obviously I'm gonna go with a European country.
Well, I assume Australia because Australian filmmakers.
Well,
will
no,
base their
if you
films in
listen,
Australia, right?
it's a
They
different
look like-
language.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Spanish, to be
European or
honest.
something. Yeah, I thought it was Spanish or
Well,
European.
Well,
No,
I know
it-
Bring Her
no,
Back
when
was
you- it
definitely
was-
Australia,
Yeah, it was Australia, but
but
it
Talk
was,
to Me was not. You're saying?
I'm gonna say it was European, and I'm gonna say it was, like kind of like Ukraine, Yugoslavian, because they weren't Spanish. They just looked like that. But yes, the showing the second hand, and again, I'm sorry, Rick.
No, finish. That's okay, man.
No. Well, that was like when
Oh, okay.
what Lexi was saying. That was my thought that I had remembered about that, was because for me they showed the other hand. For me, that's what you saw was
That's
the
cool.
other hand.
That's
Go
cool.
ahead, Rick.
No, that's cool. But like with Bring Her Back, I think the terror is with the visuals in this film, especially involving youth and mutilating themselves. These directors got this fetish with people like hurting themselves in fucking vile and disturbing ways. And this was the blueprint. I mean, this was the blueprint. I think I may have mentioned it earlier that this film and Bring Her Back, they're not related as far as sequels, but I think as far as what I read, they are within the same universe. So to speak.
Yeah.
So I will say I like Bring Her Back more. And guys, when I saw Talk to Me a long time, I told you guys, like, guys, you gotta watch this fucking movie.
You
It's
did.
great.
No, you did. And
But
then-
the reason why I like Bring Her Back more is because Mia's character, Talk to Me, was all Mia's fault. It was all her fault.
Valid.
I could not take it. I'm like, oh my, this could have been avoided. She kept making mistake after mistake. I get why. I understand why.
But also
But it-
too, it was the little boys too, because Jade kept saying no,
Yes.
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yes.
And then Mia's
Which-
dumbass, okay, for a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually,
just
Rick-
like it. Just like it.
And that's
Bring Her Back.
my Gen
Well,
Z.
no, Rick, but while you were gone, what we had discussed was the fact that when Riley did it, and they met up with the brother that got stabbed, and they
Yeah.
said a little kid had done it. He said, "You guys," so that's where there's a universe connection involving little children, and like JR and Lexi, they're innocent. It sees it different. So that's where we were starting. While you were gone, we started putting the
That's cool. I'll
connection.
go back
Go
and
ahead.
watch it, but yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like. I think Mia's character like Riley too. Riley could have been like, no. After seeing all that weird shit, me personally, I would have been like, nah, I'm good. But the fact that Mia experienced it herself and knows what she went through, and know that she's in charge of Riley I know she's not her legal guardian, but she is in charge of him at the time. You know what I'm saying? She is the adult. Or
The
over
friend,
him rather, and I would never have let him go through that. And then when all that shit happens, and then she kept making mistake after mistake on top of that, it was just frustrating. It's more frustrating, but I liked it. I love Talk to Me, but I'm gonna say I like Bring Her Back more. I think it was just, man, it's hard to tell because they're both well-made films. You can't go wrong with
Yeah.
either one. If you like one or the other, you're not wrong. It's all preference. But I'm gonna go with Bring Her Back over Talk to Me. But I think Talk to Me was such a great film when I first saw it. And it's, again, coming from directors that are new to this. They're brand new. I love that because you're seeing a vision that you don't really like. A lot of the old directors, let's
It
be
started
honest,
off
that we
strong.
grew up with, they're all washed. They're not producing the same quality of stuff that they used to.
You don't
And the
see
directors that are-
directors that go 2 for 2.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
that?
You don't
2 for
see
2.
directors go
No,
2 for
and
2.
thank you, Mark. I was
and
gonna
they
say that.
They did change. It didn't keep the
They're
same.
2 for 2. They're
Yeah.
2 for 2. Yes, they feel similar enough. Like I'm a big George Romero fan. I'm a big John Carpenter fan. And these directors, their films, and Quentin Tarantino at that, I'm a big fan of his. They're not connected, but they feel
Feel
like they're
connected.
films. Talk to Me and Bring It Back. You can tell the same people made it. You can just tell, and I dig that a lot.
All right, Lexi, I remembered you next, even though you were covered. Go ahead, Lexi.
What? She went already.
I already went.
Did you? Oh shit.
Yeah,
Remember-
because remember you
remember
came back and you listened to every word.
Oh, Joe's nice. My
How
man
many
is
beers have you
nice.
had?
No, the beer is starting to kick in.
My man is nice.
So for me, JR, I fucking hate Mia. I have seen this movie like 5 or 6 times, and every single time I watch it, I grow more disdain.
It's all her fault.
towards the Mia character.
Yeah.
She was
I agree.
selfish. I get
Oh,
why,
Yes.
because
Good
the
word.
mom showed up, so now she wants to hear more. But with her killing the father, remember though, which is weird because the movie's confusing, because the mother is telling her he's trying to kill you, but is it the spirit that's coming in that's trying to kill you? And then JR said it's a kind of, I knew, like, going into the movie, after you watch it a couple times, the more you watch it, it's telegraphed. Like, you knew that the father was going to end up dying. And when he walked in, JR, she was fighting whatever force she was feeling, because again, this involves the spirits that they basically have been fucking with. That's another thing. Ouija boards, you fucking with a spirit. So now you want to touch a hand, and I'm sorry. Who was it that said they thought? Hold on, I'm gonna finish my shot here.
But we do the shot. Everyone in the panel. I'm gonna start with Mark. He's a guest. Would you have played this game? Would you have grabbed a hand and talked to it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've played Ouija boards before. I would have definitely done it. I mean, also too, because it's a kind of high. Like, they kind of make it as like a.
Yeah. Yes, they did make it seem like that
Euphoria.
long montage.
Yeah. So I'm all down. I want to feel it.
I know JR would, right, JR? You would?
I would have teabagged that shit.
Ah, my man. My
Yeah,
man.
he's gonna be like, talk to me. No, I'm joking.
Alexia, I'm assuming it's a no for you.
She would do it.
I think I would do it.
You
Yeah,
would?
because I just want to try once. Just once.
All right, I can't be alone. Joe, come on.
This is why y'all gonna die.
You would, Joe? Would you?
No.
Thank you. All right.
He
I'm
would
all right, thank
definitely
you.
not.
When and the party's going on. First of all, so Jade's character, because she said they're faking it. So when you sing it's real,
Yeah.
listen. When it started happening with Mia, y'all would have, if it would have been all five of us, right? Y'all would have been like, "Where'd Joe go?"
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't
You
even
would have
have
ran out.
said. I would.
Irish
just
goodbye.
quietly fucking leave.
Nah.
I'm not doing this party. No, I'm not touching this hand. I'm not inviting a spirit into my body. First of all, do you see it turns your lips blue or purple and your eyes get all fucked up? Why? No, but Rick. so you're saying,
Joe would have been.
No, I'm with
feeling-
you, Joe. I'm with you.
No,
I'm with
Joe
you.
would have been feeling nice talking to the spirit and shit.
Well, hey, listen, it depends how nice I am, but I
all
don't
right.
think I would.
So
do
no,
that.
wait. I would have been feeling nice talking to a spirit that was possessing somebody else.
Oh yeah, you'd be like,
Not
"Hey,
me, not me. Oh yeah, no, I would. Okay,
Yeah,
listen.
conversation.
Listen, I'd rather go home and watch the Guinea Pig series.
I would have been the asshole to sit there and be like, "Oh no, let's talk to it a little longer," but because it's not me. All right, but go ahead, Rick.
All right.
It was
No,
your
I'm
turn.
good. I'm done. I'm good.
All right. Oh yeah, I fucking Mia was horrible. I hated Mia. Every time she tried to, and this is the thing. I don't know if it was just the writing that they felt that she was trying to fix things, but it was when everything just went wrong.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it made her fallible as opposed
Fallible.
to infallible.
Woo.
So
Dude, you
Realistic.
just did it again. My
Realistic.
brain went fallible, and you were like, it made her fallible. That's my beer brother psyching in with
that's
me.
how we roll.
But yeah, it was. I mean, but overall, I actually did enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I love
It was
I loved it,
different.
yeah.
And Jared, was it you that said like playing with a Ouija board?
Yeah, it's gonna be
That
Ouija board.
I never put that together, but once you said it, yes. Now
Yeah,
I
same. I never thought about that, honestly.
No, I did find.
Because I don't play with Ouija board.
No, don't fuck with that shit. But I did find that that scene where they're playing the music and they're all doing it. I'm like, don't y'all know to not fuck with the dead people? And first of all, when you say talk to me and you turn around and see this mutilated, bloated, whatever the fuck you're gonna see person, you're gonna then say, I let you in? How stupid are you? I mean,
You're right.
That's what I was saying with the bad decision after bad decision. But
Yes.
it just snowballed into greatness. I'm sorry.
But in defense, the movies with Gen X characters do make bad decisions too, so that's horror.
Selena says it's a no for me. Yeah, it's a no for me too.
No, but I thought
Just wanna try one.
like the scene where Riley smashed his face, that was fucking that shit was gruesome.
Terrifying.
I mean, yes. And
Again,
when
visceral in
Jade,
your face. I love shit
Jade
like that.
basically, because if you heard it, when Jade put her hand in her way
Right.
and
Yes.
he slammed the hand, like his head down, you heard that some bones broke in her hand
Yes.
Yes.
at that point.
She has it wrapped up at the hospital.
And she has it wrapped
Yeah,
up. She
good
doesn't
shout.
discuss
Good
it,
shout. Good shout.
but you see that her hand got fucked up. But like JR said, because I had, so we had our.
I hate broken bones.
We got fiber optic today, and I told Adam, I'm like, fuck. So listen, it's been a crazy week, and I have to watch this Talk to Me movie so that way you can join in on the conversation. And we're like sitting there watching it, and he's just like, oh, that was a really good movie. I'm like, really? Because this bitch just screwed over all her friends. You know, granted, at the end, for some of the family members, you got the happy ending. However, they would not have gone through this shit because of her selfish ass. So that's like my feeling for me on the movie.
Yeah.
It's just But JR, when you go to rewatch it again, I'm gonna tell you right now, the feeling doesn't go away.
I hate her character. I hate her guts.
The more times you watch it, I promise you, the disdain, the hate that you feel for the character.
second time I saw it, it was worse. Like, oh my god.
But at the same time, as you're watching the film, not once are you rooting for her character, which is
You were
what makes a
supposed
good.
to be.
But what make I the whole time I wasn't rooting for her at all.
I was rooting for Riley.
I wasn't rooting for her
Yes.
at all. But that's what makes the character good. The fact that that's the main character you're actually rooting against. You don't want her to have her happy ending because everything she's doing is sabotaging everybody who's currently having a happy life.
The friend group.
Because they went past the 10 minutes and they didn't say goodbye. Poor Riley.
Well, and I love
all because she said, wait, mom.
That was selfish. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's the whole, like she basically let this poor kid get possessed, smash his fucking face in. If he did not do the kill shot that he was going for, because that when he went to go down, that shit would have been a fracture, bones going into your brain, and you're done. And
the friends didn't even like her. Like they didn't like her.
It was forced.
Listen, when he's doing all this,
not a group of people I would hang out with.
No, these people are assholes.
Yeah.
they were going for the likes on their video. These people had no cares, but
that's the youth of today, bro.
I know, but once they heard the story behind it, you notice that the two that didn't want any videos, didn't want to be connected, then handed it off. They're like, take it. Because they realize, and it's like the monkey paw. That's what the hand is. It's the monkey's paw. It's going to bring bad things to your life.
Negative energy.
Mm-hmm. And first of all, again, if all five of us never saw this movie, and we were hanging out, and one of y'all brought their hand out,
that'd be me.
That possession would have happened. First of all, the person who had their hand on there, because we all watch horror movies, we know this is not going to go well if this extends any longer. Yeah. So let's pull the hand out. Like, nobody helped. Like, they let this shit fucking happen. The euphoria that they felt from the possession. But the most...
I want to know what this euphoria feels like. That they just kept wanting to watch some weird...
I want to be on what they own.
Disintegrating corpse in front of
that was their version of getting high. That was their weed.
I just smoked some weed, man. Fuck that shit. I ain't doing all that, bro.
Well, not just that, but when it did it, it then revealed truths about other people that you kept inside. So if you're gonna put your hand on here, so all right, let's just say if I go, I hate when Ricky cuts me off. Like when Ricky cuts me off, I just want to throw punch him. So then I put but I'm saying then I put my hand on this, and all of a sudden I get possessed, and I'm like, I hate when Ricky cuts me off.
That's when Ricky goes, this motherfucker.
Yes, and then, but it was like for me, I like both movies. The Philippou Twins are delivering new movies. It's psychological horror, supernatural psychological horror.
It's grieving horror.
I feel.
It's grieving horror.
You know what? It's a good mix of the two.
Yeah,
definite trauma horror.
Joe? What you prefer, Joe? What you prefer?
Which one I prefer?
Let's go around the room. Joe, you start. What you prefer? Don't think. Just come on, man. You said no.
Talk to me. Actually, talk to me.
All right, all right. Talk to me,
for me.
JR. I know JR says talk. All right,
Yeah,
Mark,
talk to me for me.
Bring her back.
bring her back. Me and Mark are not. Me and Mark, we know.
Yeah.
Alright, JR.
Bring her back is like a director that graduated and everything he learned, he applied to this.
Yeah.
Because they're both great films, but I think Bring Her Back was the more like Talk to Me is more the juvenile film, like for not when I say juvenile,
First time, and you use juvenile.
I don't mean to demean it, but it's more for
You know how I feel about Gen Z, and I'm saying this
it's
is
a
better.
teenage film.
Then Bring Her Back.
And Bring Her Back is the grown-up film.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's how I see it. I like them both, but I would
Don't
I would
watch Chad.
say-
Hashtag Chad got the axe.
I would say Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is such a well-made movie. Minus, yes, there's plot
Right.
holes and stuff that it's not plausible, but it is what it is. All right,
Yeah.
man, take us home.
Wait,
Joe.
wait, hold on. So, because JR didn't answer, did you?
I
He said, "Talk to me."
No, he did. He said, "Talk
Oh,
to me."
so we are 3-2.
Well, I guarantee y'all. I guarantee
Well,
y'all.
and actually-
JR just saw Talk to Me. Watch both back to back. I know JR loves the slow burns, and trust me, I know the shit he gave high reviews for. Watch them again, JR. I'm not saying you will, but I got a feeling
I just gotta tell you guys a quick story real quick.
you'll switch that tune.
Only because it has to do with Talk to Me. And this will let you know why the directors like the scenes where people hitting their heads against tables and shit. So Danny Philippou was actually in a car accident. And he said, I was in a car accident when I was 16. I split my face open,
It hurts.
and they
when
thought I
you're
might have
frustrated.
broken my spine. I was in the hospital, and I just couldn't stop myself from shaking. And the doctors would come in, turn the heaters on, give me extra blankets to try to warm me up. But they couldn't get me warm. I just couldn't stop shaking. And then my sister sat next to me. She held my hand, and the shaking just stopped. The touch of someone I loved brought me out of this state of shock that I was in. So that was basically the premise of how
Wow,
Mm.
dude, good.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good way to
nice.
end the stream. Thank
Wow.
you for that. That's
Well,
a
actually,
good.
before we sign
good
out,
show.
because I know that it's going to be just real quick. Everybody, just give their numbers really quick. Talk to me. I'm going to start with mine. The fucking Mia character ruined this movie for me. So it's a 3 for me. I'm at a 3 for Talk to Me. JR.
I'm at a 4 because I love when you actually hate the lead character.
Damn, you're see, that's why he's the villain, Mark.
Although I love Bring Her Back more, I'm gonna give Talk to Me a 5 because for it being a debut film, it hits everything. It's perfection.
And it came out of nowhere too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lexi.
For me, it's a 4. Yeah, I loved this one. I loved the fact that it had possessed, creepy talking scenes. And yes, I do hate Mia. But like JR said, and this is why he's my What's Your Story partner. I love JR. Platonically, if the
JR,
girlfriend's
JR.
watching.
You have to do the episodes. I got like Lexi is dying to do some episodes with you.
No, we talked. We're getting our list
All right,
together.
all right. I
We
just want to
talked,
make
yeah.
sure because I feel Lexi's learning how to be around us.
villain?
Yes, where she's
A
like, I'm
villain,
gonna
yeah.
mention what I want.
Villain
to do
2.0 over
already.
here.
No, it's good. It's good that you're finally yes. Good. And I like What's Your Story. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I like Talk to Me much more than Bring Her Back. But both great films. I want more from these two directors. I'm excited for Talk to Me, and I just want, besides Talk to Me, I want to see what else you guys got. So if you directors happen to be watching Horror Fiend TV, give us more.
Yes.
What other similar scene was it Talk to Me that was also in Bring Her Back?
Other than a self-mutilation?
Yep.
I don't know.
What other scene?
the child.
Anybody?
I can't think of right now.
No. All right. Mia and her mom fell asleep in the same bed together. Laura, her daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's
Cool.
right.
And the same,
The same position.
Yeah.
Ooh. JR,
Cool.
I'm gonna take a
You're
sec
right.
for that.
Cool. Good stuff.
Ricky?
I'll bring it back. I give it a 4. Talk to Me. It's also a 4. I love both these movies, and like GR said though, I hated Mia, but that's not a knock on the film. I think movies do need to diverse, and the main character is allowed to make poor choices.
All right.
So I like Bring Her Back more because I think the acting, the performances, and just the overall darker theme all the silliness from Talk to Me didn't transfer over, which is good. It differentiates the two films. I prefer Bring Her Back, but I rate both of them 4. They're 2 for 2, these directors. I'm a big fan of these guys.
Yes.
All right. So for next episode, it's June. It's time for the beach. You know what the beach brings? Sharks. You gotta watch out. And if you live in Florida, like me and Lexi do, we get reports when the sharks are around certain areas. But
I was at the beach today, so I was watching out for sharks.
So when you go to near Smyrna, you got to go to the driving side, because the driving side, actually the dolphins hang around there, and sharks don't come around that area.
I was at Coco today near the pier.
Coco
Actually,
is
me,
a lot of sharks. Coco is a lot of sharks. Don't do it.
I can't speak for Mark, but me and GR are West Coast, and Jaws, the original story, was inspired by a shark trapped in New Jersey. So just because y'all in Florida don't mean they ain't no sharks around here. So.
And actually,
tell them, GR.
We're getting shitload up by Cape Cod.
Hell yeah.
actually,
bro.
and now that you say that, even though before I announce the next movie, make sure to join us for
Lexi's hot. Let's go. Lexi's suffocating.
Yeah, I'm
JR?
fucking dying in here.
Make sure to join us for JR's
She's
birthday.
flushed. Look how
and
red she
Bruce.
is. God damn.
Bruce from Jaws and JR. Never realized that JR and Bruce were born in the same year. But we will have a live stream where we're going to discuss Jaws turning 50. And JR is finally going to join me on the 50 side. So make sure to join us for that.
Joe, you're 50, Joe?
I'm 52.
Damn, bro. How y'all look younger than me, man? Jesus, I gotta start taking care of myself.
I'll admit my part. I'll admit my part. It's a little bit of beard dye. So.
All right, let's take a.
But with that, next episode, again, it's June, so we are going to be discussing Jay Courtney's Dangerous Animals, where you combine a fucking serial killer and sharks. Because you shouldn't go into the water unless you know that the sharks are out
What
there.
a concept! Oh, I hope it's good.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Nice,
me too.
nice.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 12:40 for me.
Yes.
Ricky, with that, take us home.
Take us home. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Loves horror. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes,
thank you,
thank you.
Lexi, the fourth corner. JR, of course, and JR. I'm Joe. Always a pleasure. Everyone who watched and tuned in and commented. Be good, stay healthy, stay scared, and most of all, watch horror movies in the theaters. Support horror cinema.